Woo,
GP and that's two from the McCrizzle. That leaves just Zarya and Poison alive on point, and that's to be a shadow bringing.
Oh my god, what a sleep! What a sleep!
With a massive sleep start brings Jack to the ground.
And Trippy Ninja
Looking for it, he's gonna find some, but he's gonna be immediately shielded. Massive plate from Overkill there. Sniper Light is gonna find that beat or lamp, however, and the huge bomb is gonna find 4! Oh my god, Sniper Light! Huge play.
It's fair. I have to admit it here on stream. I actually am wrong. The wiki says that it's an Omnic Director.
Boom! Told you. In your face. What's up? Anyway.
You know at that shatter! Dragon Strike coming in from KBC gets the quad! As Obi-Wan getting a double, Money Can following up on Ikkyo. As the shatter comes in, Obi-Wan still having that Meteor Strike available as they take down KBC. Looking to follow up onto Bravery, who was swapped over to the Ham, and Saigon now coming in as Lucio trying to hold on, trying to get that beat. They have 10 seconds to touch that payload.
Oh no, and Twitchy's gotta be careful. You don't want to just get in there. Oh, that's gonna be the end of Twitchy there. Oh, great job by Shibiki keeping the rest of the team alive. So here we go. It's gonna be the final battle, and Zenkai has got to do something to make this work. Sway drops that ultimate, but the ultimates come out in favor of the Horn Beast. That's gonna be the Horn Beast.
Beat drop coming in from Sassafras, and the Diva Bomb coming down from Game Career. Oh my god! What? Where? What?
Oh my god, the Toycom picks up Berkey and Neptune picks up Sassafras. It looks like this actually might be all over here for Eclipse.
On to something. Prim, they've got to be careful with Prim, who's coming up behind on the enemy team. There goes 6C. Oh, is that going to... That's going to be a huge one, boys. That's going to be what finishes this particular game. Miss picking up yet another one. Stopping it. And that's a Yaya taking this one home. Oh, and that's a big feels bad. McBean though, able to stay alive. Oh, but it could be dangerous, dangerous territory. That's a 1-1 pick here on both sides. But McBean's got to be careful not to get taken out. Dank Monkey still on that Lucio, able to keep him alive. Oh, and that dive composition might not be coming in the best. Dank Monkey.
Widowmaker will find Mosaic here. High charge Zarya, getting tons of work in at the moment. And Widow just has to back up right now, but she's just going to fall to KBC, the absolute terror! Russian Fury pushing forward.
Who's here for Bagel Guy, who's out, hungry, but dead. Oh, and that is a wasted ultimate if I've ever seen one. Oh my god, and there we go. What is this nonsense?
Nah, John Hawks is on my side. Big bully.
Say that real slow.
Big bully.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to what is week 4 of OCC Scrims. I'm your play-by-play caster, Showdown Shane.
And I'm Franchise, your color.
And tonight we have our Shimada clan game with Stealth Gaming versus Lotus.
You know, Stealth Gaming not really living up to their name. I can see them very clearly. They're right here.
Yes, indeed. And for tonight's map pool, it seems we got the same maps from last week, which is Lijiang, Blizzard, Dorado, Volskaya, and Elio.
Yeah, we're going to Lijiang Industries, Blizzard Tower, and I can't think of ones for the other ones fast enough.
For the lineup tonight for Stealth Gaming, we have Liquid Zell and RTG for DPS, Boosty and Berkey for tank, and Red Hoodie and Coyote for support. And for Lotus, we got Witch Bay and Silver as DPS, Dank Monkey, Matthias as tank, and Michael G and Ike as support.
It'd be interesting to see how things play out here, since, as some of you may or may not know, Lotus is actually in the tier below Stealth Gaming as far as ranking is concerned here at OCC. But the team they were originally going to be playing tonight was not able to play them. So they challenged up to play Stealth tonight. So we'll see if they can hold their own in this matchup.
You would love to see it. You love to see it.
It's one of those where no matter who wins, someone's going to feel really good and someone's going to feel really bad.
Well,
You're either gonna feel like, oh man, we really outplayed this team that's better than us, or man, we got destroyed, or the other way around.
But hey, who knows? It could be an even match. We shall see. We shall see.
It's your classic underdog story at this point.
Everyone loves an underdog story. Am I right?
I mean, I prefer the overdog sometimes, just because I like, winning my bets. But
that's only if money's on the line. If money's not on the line, I mean, what's the point?
You mean you didn't bet on this game?
I didn't. There was betting involved.
My comp points. Imagine if you had Imagine if you got SR, could gain or lose SR from custom games.
Bro, that would be unfortunate. Well, it looks like we are all ready, folks, so we will take it to Lijiang Tower. And I am not the host of this, so franchise, take it away.
Yes. In we go, indeed. I personally really love Lijiang. It's one of my favorite of the control maps. Granted, I like control maps in general because there's no real advantage for either team until someone takes the first point.
What kind of comps do you think we'll see tonight, especially without hero bans? I suppose we don't have hero bans tonight.
I mean, on this first map, I would love to see Lijiang. What?
What? It seems like we have the wrong map. I do not know how.
Not according to map pools.
Ready for battle.
See what we got here.
We'll be right back.
No, that's not it. The top map is first. It should go Lijiang, Blizzard, Dorado, Volskaya, Ilios. I don't know what they were thinking there.
All right, we apologize. We're back now.
Yeah, we're going back in.
Hope everyone is keeping safe out there, especially with everything going around. Social distance and wear a mask for everyone's sake. You filthy animals.
Now arriving at Lijiang Tower.
We're going back in here. So,
initiating match.
As I was saying, I personally love seeing Wrecking Ball come out on Lijiang just because there are a lot of maps, there's a lot of opportunities to knock him around and stuff like that.
Wrecking Ball can be, with the rollouts, Wrecking Ball can be quite smooth with it. What kind of comps do you think we'll see tonight, especially since hero bans are gone?
Ready for battle.
Let's see here. I don't know, because I love just being able to knock people around. Especially maps like this. Is a great Lucio map too.
Mm-hmm. Looks like we're seeing Stealth come out with the.
2, 1. Round 1. Capture the objective.
All right, and we're off. Looks
See a
like
bit of a classic. I do like the Pharah here, just because it does basically force the team to ignore the bridge if they want to try and stay on the map.
See a Sim teleporter, and it looks like Stealth is already on point. As we're about to see the engagement happen.
So basically the two strongest ways you can play this, you can either just jump onto the point with the Symmetra, or you can go around and just try and see if you can knock them away with the Pharah.
And we see Stealth get the first Stealth RTG get the first pick on Silver as Pharah. Looks like it's right now it's a 5v6 situation, and we see Stealth get another one on Witch Bay. Ike takes out Red Hoodie, Berkey boosts, and both get Matthias, Dank, and Ike, and Michael G going for the reset, and now it will look like Lotus will take first point, or not Lotus. My bad, Cell Gaming taking first point.
It's interesting seeing them going straight to the Soldier and the McCree, because you gotta think, yeah, they do want to take up. They also still need to win the ground game at some point here too. And now, as much as you want to be able to contest that Pharah, Soldier and McCree are gonna have a much harder time in that ground fight, especially into a Rhine.
We see that Lotus has to back up a little bit as they lost one of their healers. And you see Matthias also getting taken out by the Pharah.
And as key as the Reinhardt is in that situation, honestly, losing your Zarya is even a bigger blow than losing your Rhine, because you can potentially still stall out with the Zarya. If your Rhine does fall, once your Zarya goes down though, your Reinhardt loses a lot of his potential durability.
That'll be a reset for Lotus after losing two out of their 6-man comp.
You have to wonder if the Lucio and Mercy are going to be enough to be able to contest this far, because if they can't take her out quickly, she's going to be bringing in a lot more damage than they can deal with.
And you see the second engagement happening on point. Stealth and Berkey take out Michael G and Dane. When we see the barrage coming in from Stealth, getting 2 picks out, and there it is. The team kill comes out on Lotus.
And it does appear that Lotus is kind of falling into a trap that I've seen some people fall into before, especially against a Pharah. You come out, you wanted to play your game plan, you wanted to play the way you wanted to, but then you also see something that you have to counter. You can't both try and commit to your game plan and counter a specific person on the enemy team. You have to commit to one way or the other.
We see Stealth getting the 3 pick on Lotus, and that will be a reset for Lotus, and they cannot continue any further.
You gotta wonder if they're gonna be able to even get to the point at this point.
And you see Luke trying to contest the point, and trying to drop the beat, but got denied by Berkey. Ainu coming out on in the grab. Stealth takes down 3 from Lotus, and it looks like that will be the end of this point, unless they can contest it even further. Mercy's going Valkyrie, but getting taken out by Liquid Cell, and that will be it for round 1. Stealth
it's just a situation there where the Pharah was too much for them to handle, and as much as we all know that hit scans have an easier time against Pharah than any other character in the game, you can't just leave them out to dry and try and take them out on her own, especially if she has someone supporting her. Like, you need to pull out a D.Va if you can to try and help support it. D.Va's honestly, in many cases, a better counter than a hit scan will be to a Pharah as well.
That is indeed, because of that huge health pool that D.Va has makes it so that she is not easily taken out by the Pharah.
And whether she's trying to directly counter the Pharah or not, like, if she's even not going hunting the Pharah, all you need is for her to just stay near the hit scans trying to take her out and just try and eat a rocket every now and then so they're not getting hammered while they're trying to get a clean shot off.
See Stealth going on the Doomfist now, making his way on the point.
It looks like just the general attitude of both these teams, where Stealth is trying to go for as specialist a build as they can. You get the Mei, you get the Doomfist here, you had the Pharah on the last map, where Lotus is more so generally trying to play the more just general use characters, but they don't have any specific weakness.
And we see the first pick coming out from Reddy on Matthias. Berkey takes out Dank. Silver, takes out Red Hoodie, but Boost takes out Michael G in response. Coyote takes out Witch Bay. Liquid takes out Ike, and it looks like Stealth will take this point as Stealth, as RTG contested.
You gotta wonder if you look at the ult charge right here. Ike and Silver really were able to charge their ults really well during that first fight. And potentially Silver could try and get a good Deadeye, but it's going to be really dependent upon the reaction time of Stealth.
And a good wall off by the Mei. Berkey getting a huge shatter off that takes out the enemy team, except for that Zarya, who was trying to make it back to the ship, and she just successfully gets away.
And at this point, you have to really try and think of what's not working. What can you switch around here? Yes, some of you yes, you're getting closer to your ultimates, but at this point, do you really want to sit on that ultimate, or do you want to try and get the opportunity where you can try and land some hits?
And we see a window coming out from Coyote, trying to wall him off, and Lotus coming out to make a separate way to get out of line of sight. We see the Graviton Surge coming out, holding Lotus back. Silver gets a Deadeye on Boost, but Stealth and Berkey already took out Witch and Dang. We see Stealth coming out to be aggressive. Liquid takes out Silver with the Blizzard, and Stealth takes out Ike with a Rocket Punch to the face.
And it's just a situation here where, yes, you're not being directly countered by them, but you're not doing anything to force Stealth to kind of reconsider their picks or make them pick around you. Because of that, you don't really have an angle where you have an advantage.
And we see Lotus trying to get a little bit aggressive here. We see the shower coming out, huge anti coming out, but not many picks coming from it. Red Hoodie takes out Dank Monkey. Visor comes out with the shatter again. And it looks like Stealth will clean up this round and will take game 1.
That was just a situation where they did land a perfect shatter there, or not the perfect shatter, the perfect grab. It was a great anti-nade, but the lamp from Coyote was just enough to get in the way, and there was no focus from Lotus to actually destroy it in time.
And Stealth will take game 1 of the night.
As we move on next to Blizzard World, which, side note, a theme park I wish actually existed.
Rise might not be exciting, but the aesthetics is.
Really? I mean, hell, honestly, it would give them a place to host Blizzard World BlizzCon every year. We just see the far there was absolutely dominant on the first map as well. Just really showed the reasoning there. As we hop back over here, set up for our friendly neighborhood Blizzard World.
Still did a good job of contesting Lotus to where, and getting the essential picks to make sure that Lotus cannot be as aggressive as they can.
Exactly. And that's the situation, really. You know, you force the enemy team to swap to you. And if they don't adjust, you just keep pressing that advantage.
Exactly.
So now here we head on into our friendly neighborhood Blizzard World.
All right.
They're doing a quick swap here, though.
Swapping Big Nate for Berkey.
But how big is Big Nate?
Hopefully bigger than the Big Nate in the comics.
There's a comic character called Big Nate?
You would believe so, yes. That makes me feel old. I'm only 18. Oh my gosh.
In Blizzard World, honestly, I do appreciate the hybrid maps just because you can get a good defensive stand on the first point without the stall fest that is usually the second point on most 2CP maps.
Blizzard World, there's a perfect spot for the snipers either, where you can set up near the amusement park or you can set up on the boat.
It's also a very strong Reaper map just because of all the different shadowy paths that you can hide in and just jump on someone when you see them not looking.
Yes, Reaper. Also depends on how you play Reaper. Reaper can either play flanky or can play with the team. And sometimes you gotta switch it up depending on the situation.
Oh, absolutely. But it's kind of a map where, depending on what we're facing up against, I personally love to play Sombra on this map as well, just because of all the ins and outs you can hide in. And it's really an easy way to kind of give your front line the advantage. Same thing with Reaper if you can get something in the back line. We will see an Echo come out here. That's interesting. It's not a map I particularly think of Echo having an advantage. We'll see if they play I would like to see them play Echo kind of like they did the Pharah with an aerial, a more so aerial focus for her. Now, granted, Echo doesn't need to stay in the air, unlike Pharah, where she can honestly play on the ground with her tank, she can play as a flanker and just save her flight as an escape. But at this point, Lotus hasn't given them a reason to do anything otherwise. They haven't given them a reason to fear their hit scans.
And we see Silver going Widowmaker here, possibly to contest with aerial heroes.
They tried last time with McCree, but they're going to have better sightlines here as the Widow, so...
As we see Lotus coming out their spawn, let's see if they go through the main way. It looks like they're going under through the Lost and Found Viking section. Smart move in case there's anyone just eyeing down the archways. Dynamite comes out but does not connect with anyone. As you see Lotus slowly creeping in, trying to push up.
If you're
see the
Stelter,
first
you
engagement
almost want to pull
happening.
them in. You almost want to pull them in so your Echo can get around.
See the first engagement's happening. Silver having a tough time trying to get a pick on that Echo.
Oh, it's like I said, the Echo doesn't need to stay in the air. If she feels threatened, she can just zip back to her team if she needs to.
Lotus having a tough time. Huge anti coming out. Still taking out Witch Bay. We see Lotus still trying to have a tough time trying to at least get the point. Liquid Cell taking out Matthias, and then Ike being taken out by Stealth RTG. RTG also takes out Silver in return. Big Day takes out Michael G. And Dang Monkey taken out by Boostception for a little bit of a stagger.
So if you're Stealth here, you gotta think, who do you want to copy as Echo? You could, both tanks are a great option here. You're not gonna get as much by copying the Soldier, the Widow, or either of the supports. Because you gotta think, Graviton would be nice, but Shatter is almost always guaranteed value if you copy it.
That's also true. Or you could be aggressive and switch to the Lucio for that sweet, sweet sound barrier.
I personally love copying a Lucio as an Echo just to get the instant burst of health, and Lucio can still do a little bit of damage if he wants to.
And we see Stealth going on the Reinhardt, possibly for a double shatter.
It's a very aggressive copy, though. It doesn't look like they might be able to even get a good shatter off just because they didn't pull them in farm enough.
And Lotus going up to Flight to Duskwood. Michael G takes out Red Hoodie. Pfizer coming out from Witch Bay.
So strangely aggressive move there.
Graviton Thirst coming out. Shatter connects, and then another Shatter comes out from First Game Response. Bob comes out to actually do something and takes out Witch Bay. Boost takes out Eye. And they're all going up. Dank takes out Big Nate. And it seems like Lotus is trying to...
Strangely aggressive move there from Red Hoodie on the Brig, trying to go up onto the high ground there to contest the somewhere. Lotus was just basically grouped up with at least 4 or 5 of them, getting melted almost instantly once they turn around the phaser.
And we see Lotus trying to make a return. Boost takes out Witch Bay. We see the Graviton Surge coming out as we see Red Hoodie rally it up. We see a brawl happening on point. Big Nate takes out Ike. Matthias had a shatter come out. Boost takes out Michael G. Liquid Zell then takes out Silver. Kelly takes out Matthias. Red Hoodie takes out Dank Monkey. And it looks like that'll be it for Lotus on the clean.
It was a pretty good Graviton Surge there from Lotus, but you have to think, without the damage really to follow up on it, Rally was not traditionally a defensive ultimate, but it was enough to carry them through it.
That extra armor really sure does help with the damage reduction, especially in a Graviton Surge.
That's why a lot of times you'll see teams try and rally aggressively before the fight even starts, just because that armor does hang around long enough to make it work.
And we see Lotus trying to get their last, as the 30 seconds come up, we see them trying to get their last engagement out. Not getting, still, we see the Graviton Surge come out from the Zarya. Big Nate takes out Ike, Stealth then takes out Dank Monkey. Big Nate takes out Matthias. We see the Echo turn into Tracer. Big Nate takes out Michael G. And it looks like that'll be it as, hold up. And Kyle takes out Witch Bay with the fist. And it looks like, hold up, and there it is. Stealth Lotus has held off to where Lotus could not take off one tick.
And it's kind of the situation we had seen in the last map, where Lotus was able to get a couple of good ultimates in there, but there was just not really enough follow-up damage to really take advantage of them.
Initiating match.
Lucio was just barely there with the rollout to try and contest, but couldn't make it happen.
You have to think here. If you're stealth here, do you play your normal comp, or in this situation, knowing how much time you have and that you only need to get one tick, you can play for ultimate combos. You can play for EMP Diva Bomb or EMP something, Graviton something, and just have that be your win condition. Because if you pull it off,
Ready
all you
for
need is that
battle.
tick. They won't be able to get back. If you wipe them, it's fine. But if they can stagger in, there's a chance that they can stall it out.
Do we have time to go on some rides?
There's
Flight to
that's
Dustin
all they
my
need is one
favorite.
decisive fight, and that'll be it for game 2.
Exactly, and that's what I like about us being in a situation like this, honestly, especially on the attack. You can have the mentality of, we have enough time to charge our ultimates, we don't need to be too overly aggressive. Let's just take our time, do what we need to do, and don't feed into their ultimates if we don't have to.
And we're seeing Silver going on the Echo here, and Witchbay on the Reaper.
Interesting, they're going to struggle to take out the other Echo, though, unless Silver can contest him on his own.
One. Attackers incoming.
And we see Stealth coming out of the tavern with Sticky Bombs coming in from Silver on the initial attack.
Even Tracer here can contest the Echo potentially with her. Her guns are hit scan, they have a rather limited range.
We Stealth slowly making their way up through the point.
It is interesting to see the Sigma with the Reinhardt. A little bit more damage in exchange for a little bit less durability in a close range fight.
We see Witchbait takes out Red Hoodie on the initial pick. And the team and Stealth almost force it back up without one of their healers.
With just the Mercy on their own, they're not going to be able to heal enough to actually get through this wall at this point. They just want to fall back and regroup.
Dang Monkey taking out Liquid Zell. And we see Tyus get aggressive. Dang Monkey takes out Big Nate. And we see Lotus becoming aggressive, trying to get those staggers in. Big Nate takes out Red Hoodie for a little bit of a stagger pick. And now it looks like they will be Lotus will be back ahead. We see Coyote on the revive though.
It's interesting there. You do want to kind of accelerate your team's chances to regroup, and just getting that res off is huge. It's an extra 5 seconds you have to wait for them to even respawn, and then even rocket back towards them. That's hard to tell.
You see the two Echoes battling out, duking it out. It's gonna be a dogfight up in there. Liquid Zell takes a Mike with the dynamite. Shatter comes out to stop themselves from contesting. Berkey comes in with a charge. Boost takes out Witchbay. We see Still takes out Dang Monkey. Michael takes out Big Nate. Cody boosts and takes out Zacarias, Michael, and Silver. Liquid takes out Silver. We see Lucio trying to hang on for dear life as we zoom it across the point. But it's taken out by Stealth, and that is it. Stealth takes game 2.
And it's one thing I appreciate from the Brigida there on Stealth Gaming's side on the attack. Seeing the Reaper start to use Death Blossom, just taking the opportunity and knocking him away. It's what you want to do, especially too if you're playing as a Lucio against a Reaper as well. That's usually generally who wants to do it. If the Reaper ever comes near you or tries to Death Blossom in anywhere near you, you don't need to kill him. You just need to get him away from your team where he's going to be less effective. And next we head on our way to our friendly little Dorado. Not my favorite. Of course, that'll be right after halftime.
Yes, yes indeed. We'll be right back after the break.
business. I blame it on the atmosphere. Maybe it was just unfair. Baby, I'm like a racketeer in this love business.
And welcome back, everyone, as we are continuing on with our match against Stealth Gaming versus Lotus.
So from there on, we got Stealth up here 2-0 after winning both the hybrid and our friendly neighborhood control map. Now we head on to Dorado. Now, Dorado, a payload map, of course. Not my personal favorite when it comes to the payload maps. Kind of one I don't see very often, it feels like, when I'm trying to play on the ladder. I don't know about you, at least, Kat, or Shane, but it's just kind of something I don't see very often, or at least when I do, it doesn't leave much of an impact on me.
Yeah, it is what it is. I'm more so a fan of attacking rather than defense on here because, personally, as a Ryan player, I don't like setting up high ground. Having drop right down.
This is a map where I think, honestly, the first point of it is kind of boring, if we're being frank.
It's either you win or you don't.
It's either a steamroll or a full hold, exactly. Whereas you get the second, and especially the third point on this map are very interesting. You just don't see it all the time.
Traveling to Dorado.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there are other maps that have that problem, of course. Like even Nubani, I think, could go that way too.
Hey, this is the hometown of the Los Muertos gang, where Sombra got her start as a hacker at a young age.
Honestly, would love to see more somber little tidbits scattered around here. I know they had the thing in the sky when she was coming up to be released, but even a couple of posters here and there would be really cool.
I like a little bit of soldier memorabilia around here too, as if everyone remembers tidbit of information, when the game before the game even came out, one of the first cinematics was Soldier 76 taking out some members of the Los Muertos gang in Dorado.
I do hey, so speaking of which, we do see someone on Lotus. We see Witchbag actually picking the Sombra to start here. We'll see if they stick around on that though.
That could be interesting, especially when you got prime hackable targets, not only like the Reinhardt and the Roadhog.
And the Echo, especially. Sombra, if you're sticking to that Echo, you can make her life miserable. And I do appreciate their lineup here, actually. They do have the Genji with the Sombra, along with a D.Va and a Winston. It looks like they might just be trying to go full Cyber type. I do appreciate there are not a lot of very diveable targets outside of maybe the Brig or the Torb. And not to mention the Ana, but their tanks are not very diveable, and Echo is not really diveable at all.
And you see Lotus trying to push the car as much as they can, especially with that forward run turret coming out. We see Stealth trying to protect it. And there it goes. Silver takes it out. We see the Winston jumping up on point. Silver shoots the shurikens to take out Red Hoodie. And it looks like Lotus is backing up a little. Lotus, we see Stealth backing up a little bit as Lotus is taking the point.
It is interesting too, because generally Torbjorn can be someone that can make Sombra's life a little bit harder, but in any situation like that, if your team can focus down that turret anytime it shows up, you don't have to worry about him getting, or your Sombra getting hit anytime she's trying to attack someone.
We see Lotus slowly but surely pushing the payload up. We see the Reinhardt taking a little bit of a nap on the Stealth side. We see Red Hoodie bash down Witchbay.
See an early primal rage there.
Dank Monkey, he takes out Red Hoodie, but it is taken out of her mech. We see the Shatter coming out. It doesn't seem to get anyone. Big nade. Squeals all over Ike. Boost takes out Silver, and Big nade takes out Mutias with his scrap gun. You hate to see it.
Now you can kind of see in a situation like this too, where you have so many different targets on Lotus's side, just jumping around the point. Your Shatter is really only useful to kind of just pin down one or two if you can.
See the D.Va using her jump jets to try and find a good position. We see the Sombra coming out with the EMP. D.Va, Echo turns into D.Va. Molten Core coming out to take out Ike.
A little bit on the bomb there.
Oh boy, it looks like Ike gets an even match between both teams. We see Dank being taken out of his mech. Silver takes out Liquid Zell in response. And then it looks like Lotus will take point one.
Just a little bit of a last stall there.
Unless the whole hog comes out with the nano boost. And he just Big Nate takes out Witchbay. We see the Shatter trying to come out, but it's denied. Diva Bomb comes out, but doesn't seem to get a pick.
It's a situation here where, like, Stealth Gaming just really has very bulky characters that they're going to struggle to burst down a little bit more. They finally seem to get through.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. As Lotus is struggling to make its way to push the payload.
No swaps yet on either side, really. I do instead of getting off on the Torb from getting onto a McCree. Don't know how much McCree's gonna be able to handle this too here though. Like he'll be able to take care of the Sombra or the Genji a little bit if he can stun him. But if you're playing on Lotus' side here, you can just try and dodge, just stay away from them, keep your distance.
And see Coyote sniping out Matthias. See the Nano Boost coming out, hopefully with a Nano Blade, hopefully to come out. But we're not seeing it on Lotus' side. Big nade bursts down Silver, and it looks like Stealth will hold this point right where it is.
The Nano just coming out almost seemed, I don't know, with no real reason to. He did have his blade, but there was kind of a lost fight at that point.
You see Lotus on the regroup trying to go for the second engagement. Big Nate taking the high ground position, as we all know, not the best position. But we see Dank chasing down Big Nate off that high ground position, never lose the high ground. We see the EMP coming out again. Stealth burst down Matthias. Silver with the blade takes down 3. Michael G takes out Stealth. And we see Lotus moving the point if they can take out. There it is. Now Silver dashes right on through Nate.
That's generally how you want to run your blade in that situation, you know? You're not going to be able to burst down the tanks nearly as well individually, so you want to try and take them out. There's targets that you can get quickly, and then once they're gone, the tanks are going to not have the support they need to stay alive for very long.
You have to have good target acquisition as Genji, when using your blade, focusing on who you're going to get. We see the rally coming out, and as B drops as well. Big Nay fire strikes Michael G. Boost takes down Ike. We see Diva Bomb coming out on Lotus' side, but doesn't seem to get a pick. Big Nay hammers Ike into the ground. And we see Lotus' tank still trying to hold on for dear life, but as we see, Stealth is converging on both of them and takes them out.
It was an interesting situation where you had, like, just how they're timing their ultimates out. We've been seeing the EMP, Nano, and Blade kind of all coming out at the same time usually. Of course, now Diva's going over to Ball, but I was thinking more so you want to just use your Nano Blade on its own. You don't necessarily need EMP to get value out of that and save your EMP for Diva Bomb.
And Dank with a nice rollout. That was
And you kind of got to think here, who's your primary target? You can try and maybe focus on your Brig, you can focus on the Reinhardt, those are your easy hack targets.
And then we see the High Noon coming out, and it takes out Witch Bay with the headshot. But as now he's taking a nap, and then returns to burst down Silver. Big Nate takes out Ike in response. We see the anti coming out on both tanks.
It was a smart move there by Silver, just trying to get up in the face of the McCree, trying to deflect it back in the face, but the Ana there right on their game, just trying to protect him and noticing that that was a possibility, just able to sleep him in time. If you're Sombra here, you're going to be able to get your EMP pretty quickly, but you probably won't be able to get Blade fast enough to really combo it.
See the nanoing coming out.
Trying to charge it the last second
coming
there.
out as well. Seems to get up. EMP comes out as well. The Blade takes out 2. Big Nate takes out Ike.
You gotta be able to take out the Brigade in this situation, otherwise they're gonna have too much durability to get through.
Winston zapping everyone who gets in his line of sight. You see Lotus still trying to push the point. Witch Bay bursts down Big Nate, and Matthias taking out Red Hoodie. Silver, or Shuriken Stealth. Dang Monkey jumping in as the Monkey, zapping everyone in his path, and Lotus will take point 2.
It looks like it's going to be just enough to get them through. You have to think here, you did get a little bit of time left, or a little bit extra time, of course, for getting the point. But is that going to be enough to really make you waste a single fight? You have to play each fight here like it's the last one.
You see the Graviton coming out as Liquid takes out Silver and Matthias. Stealth taking out Ike in response as well. We're trying to see any more staggers coming out on Stealth.
You're gonna have a couple ultimates, but you don't really have any obvious combos. You just need to kind of use them as best you can to get the progress.
And we see someone on the sneaky trying to get a back cap from the Sombra. Will she make it all the way? Wait. We see the standoff.
The classic standoff.
Red Hoodie and oh, you love.
Oh, if you could caption that, all you need is ICU.
He's just Deadeye coming up, but doesn't seem to get any picks. Silver taking out 2. Big Nate hammers Silver to death. Big Nate charges right on into Dank Monkey for the confirmed kill.
A monkey going after the other monkey.
Oh. See,
they're gonna still be able to group up one more time on the defense here, and it's gonna be a while until Lotus can get there.
Unless Stealth can take out everyone that is in their path, raging havoc. We see the Graviton Surge to hold Monkey in his place as they pour all his resources into taking him out, and it looks like that is it. Stealth will hold him just shy of 3 points.
We saw a pretty good combination there, just really good team coordination there from Lotus' side though. Able to really notice when they had their ultimates to combo, maybe using them a little too aggressively in some situations, but they were able to get them together to make the pushes when they needed to. Just couldn't quite get them all together at the right time at the end.
Now let's see if Lotus can hold them off just enough that they take game 3.
Now you gotta think here, if you're Lotus in this situation, do you invest fully into trying to hold this first point? I'm not talking Bastion, obviously, because that's either going to work really well or it's not going to work at all. But you got to think, if you get to that second point, if you let them get to the point, capture that second point, it's functionally over.
That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. Hold them as much as you can at first point and just go on.
Look, a pirate ship on attack. You know, when I said Bastion, I didn't mean on the attack side.
Well, would you look at this?
It is interesting
for the pirate ship
with a Pharah.
Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum coming out from Stealth.
Now, I do appreciate them splitting it though with the Pharah. Baptiste is enough alongside Double Shield to keep the main core on the payload alive, not to mention immortality and the res from the Mercy. And Lotus hasn't really shown you any reason to be scared of them being able to deal with your Pharah, so you pull that out and you make them split their attention.
Let's see how Lotus responds to this pirate ship strategy, as Bastion is the ultimate shield melter, if we're all being honest here, especially with the Orisa.
Now they do already have the Sombra, which is one potential counter to a Bastion, and even a Pharah to some extent.
And we see Witchbay getting the hack off on the Bastion, but still taking out Witchbay, rocketing him down with death, raining from above.
So the issue they're going to run into here, though, is although Sombra can potentially hack the Bastion, hack the Sombra, or hack the Bastion and hack the Pharah to slow them down, even same true with the Sigma, you're gonna need to be able to get that follow-up still onto this. Like, the Ashe is not gonna be enough to get through these shields.
Lotus having a tough time trying to contest the point, as Stealth is just raining rockets from above.
This might be a situation where, honestly, the Bastion isn't going to be the thing carrying them. It's going to be the Pharah that keeps them from even getting close enough to the cart.
Death from above, as Pharah likes to put it.
It's a weird situation if you're Silver, too, because Ashe isn't going to really help you at all with the Bastion comp, but you're going to need her in order to contest the Pharah.
Liquid Zell just turning through Matthias, just ripping him to shreds, as Stealth easily takes first point.
If you're Lotus here even, yes, you have the Rhine and the Sigma to have the most potential shield that you can pull out, but you might consider swapping that Rhine onto a D.Va. Yeah, like, you get the D.Va out instead of the Sigma, but Sigma's going to do better than Reinhardt against the Pharah and the Bastion at the same time as well.
It looks like Dank going on the D.Va and the help of Rhine, and soak up damage from Bastion. Silver making sure to take out that Mercy Pocket, that darn Mercy Pocket that everyone hates. Look at Zell once again tearing Matthias to shreds. You hate to see it. Bastion going in the tank form becomes the ultimate tank of this roster, and taking out Witchbay in the process. as Lotus is having a tough time going through and taking out this pirate ship strategy.
It's an awkward situation because you do have to pick who you want to go after first. You can go for the pirate ship or you can go for the Pharah. You can't really split your attention here at all. Yes, the other one's going to give you trouble depending on who you go for, but you have to get one first before you can get the other. Otherwise, they're just both going to be good.
See Lotus somewhat trying to hold it out as much as they can with Dank Monkey as the diva, but without any support there, I don't know how long he will last there. And there he is, as Lotus with the regroup. Diva coming out, but it's blocked off, and it seems like Lotus is just smothering through all of Stealth, as Stealth is trying to have the regroup.
It's just a situation here where once you get your Bastion knocked off the cart, you pretty much have to get off of it. It's going to be too hard to get back on there with your Bastion, just not really being able to set up on a meaningful position.
I will not waste this opportunity.
See where they can pull it out here. I do like the Tracer though instead.
But we see Stealth still trying to make their way up there, as Dank is giving them a lot of trouble as Diva having that long-range strategy.
You're basically relying on, if you're Lotus here, just ignoring the Tracer as best you can unless she's actually causing you problems. You go for the Pharah first, you go for their ground battle to win the ground battle first.
And we see that Diva has been taken out, so now the Pharah Mercy combo is now free to roam in the airs and rain down all the rockets that they want. And we see still trying to take out the essential picks to try and move this car any further. Fighter coming out, but it's taken out by Stealth in response. We see the window coming out for extra damage. Dank taking on a mech and about to get bursted down, and there it is. And it looks like Stealth will take second point.
3 minutes, you gotta think here. It's like on the Attack on Blizzard World if you're Stealth here. Take your time, don't feel rushed.
This is either a win or lose strategy, so Lotus has to pull out all the stops to make this win possible.
Now, I would like to see them potentially try and get some value out of their ultimates, but you almost just have to get. You're gonna get death breath at some point here.
New Shatter coming out, but another Shatter in response, not getting much value out of either of them. Bob coming out on point. Ooh, but Silver takes out Stealth before any damage can be done. Silver dynamites and blows Coyote to smithereens. Pulse Bomb then blows Ike to smithereens as well. And it looks like Lotus will hold this point.
The only downside of this situation though is the only ultimate you really have to work with now is that Coalescence for this next fight.
But as you can see from Stealth's side, they have the Graviton Surge.
And that alone could be enough to win the fight for them.
Yes, indeed. That can be your game winner right there, your bread and butter. Say, Coyote taking out Silver. See, Coalescence coming out with the Graviton Surge. Doesn't seem to get much value out of it. Coyote takes out 2 in response. Then, ooh, you see Big Nate taking out Matthias. Coyote takes out Michael G. Looks like that is it. Stealth will take game 3 unless Genji holds it out. Nope, there it is. There it is. Stealth takes game 3.
Victory.
What do you have to say about that franchise?
Well, it was certainly it was just a situation where Stealth was able to push up so aggressively in through that second point. Nothing really to counter the Pharah. Their attention was basically split through the entire time between the Pharah and the Bastion trying to beat it. That when they finally did, they just didn't have enough time. They weren't able to eat enough time off the clock in order to kind of pull it back.
That pirate ship strategy can be a tough one, if you have nothing to coordinate to defeat it yourself.
Exactly. Now, normally we would be going on to the 4th map, but with them up 3-0, are we heading on to Volskaya? Volskaya is honestly one of those real, what's the word? Divisive, for lack of a better word. 2CP maps, not just because it is a 2CP map.
All I can say is Volskaya is one of those true OG maps where boys turn into men and girls into women because we're
Oh,
all
it's
inclusive here on the
yeah.
game of Overwatch.
Exactly, and it's just a situation too where everyone loves to put their own things. Like everyone loves to talk about putting that Sombra teleporter going all the way around the left and surprising them. But in any other situation, honestly, 90% of the time they're going to see it coming.
You're gonna see the boobs coming from either Wrecking Ball or the Lucio.
Exactly. I love if I'm playing Sombra in that situation, or not Sombra. If I'm playing Symmetra in that situation, I don't try and be cute about it. I just put it in the middle, send it over onto the point, and we're getting there before them. We're turning our offense into a defense. But let's pull it out here.
Just having teams get all settled in real quick. We seeing the swap coming out. We seeing Berkey and Nate making swaps.
It'll be interesting to see if we do see a Symmetra coming out here. Just because it is such a good Symmetra map, at least this first point. Haven't been able to get a ton of value from her personally on the second point, at least not as much. She's generally someone that you just kind of stick on to because you're steamrolling. So we are waiting on one here, though, otherwise from Stealth. This is one topic that I had brought up beforehand as well. But if you could, Shane.
Okay.
Rework or move one hero into another category, who would it be? Just one.
For me, the most obvious one for me right now, I would have to say would be the Sombra to the support category. Now I know what everyone's going to say. Yes, she's a damage, and yes, you can frag out with her 60 round Uzi, go grata-ta-ta-ta into the enemy team. But hear me out. Let's be honest. Is Sombra a true fragger of the DPS category, as her hack provides a lot of utility for the team to be able to get essential picks?
Well, I think it's generally, and I told you this before, that there's a misconception just generally in the community that support only means healing output. When in reality, in almost any game, including Overwatch, it generally should be more for utility, at least as a primary. Their utility in most of the time is that they output a lot of healing, but otherwise, there's not a whole lot of, like, you can get utility from other ways. Like, Brig's utility is not her healing. It's the armor that she provides on top of it.
I mean, look at Symmetra. She used to be a support, and then she got moved.
And honestly, she actually served that role fairly well in that original form she was in, where she was able to apply additional shields to her teammates.
But reworks happen all the time, so what can you
I
do?
personally feel like the popular one right now is moving Mei into the tank category. She already functions like a third tank in most 2-2-2 lineups. Just make it official, make her a little bit more bulky and make her an off-tank.
I mean, Bastion, let's be honest, is the real tank of the Overwatch lineup.
It's interesting here, though. We do see the Symmetra coming out on attack. It looks like they're doing exactly what I think they should here. They're going to be aggressive with the teleport. They're not being cute and going around, because if you do go around, they're going to see you coming when they get here.
And it looks like Lotus. Oh, wait, you see the pause?
Oh. Who died?
Who did?
It's interesting too, though, but we can already see Monkey getting set up for that teleport, which is exactly how I think you want to run that.
See Witch Bay possibly. Oh, and we see Witch Bay on the tank this time. Hello.
Yeah, they swapped it back and forth here, which is one thing I appreciate when teams can pull it off.
And we see Witch Bay might actually take the Fire Strike to the face. Let's see what happens.
And it was at that moment that he could see his life flash before his eyes.
And narrowly missed, as we see Lotus trying to push up through this choke right here. And Self not making any space for it, but backing up 2 points and letting Lotus have their space. Sim teleporter coming out, but we can obviously. Oh, and we see Berkey trying to get a cheeky charge off of it, but no one goes through, and with just a fake out, as we see Ike get a pick on Red Hood, Dink taking out Berkey, and looks like Lotus will be able to take out Michael G. And that will be it.
It's just kind of an interesting use of the Symmetra there, really. Just more as a distraction, if nothing else, just because of how popular she is on this game.
And it sure tricked out Berkey because he chose to charge right into the back and leaving his team vulnerable for the oncoming onslaught.
It's kind of like what you'll see some Jugrats try and do when a Symmetra lands a teleporter down. You try and throw your mine onto it and knock them all away so they can't all go through it at the same time. Same thing with a Lucio can try and pull it off. But if you're the Reinhardt there, if you can charge the origin point of the teleport and not the back end, you should be probably doing that instead, honestly.
See Lotus trying to figure out their route of attack as they take the high ground. Yes, sir. I'd love to see it. We see the Sim teleporting and them actually taking it into the back line. The beat dropping, getting everyone. Silver takes out
Shatter canceled.
You see the nano boost on the Zarya, making her the strongest of women. Shatter coming out on the team. The Symmetra shielding her teammates off as Lotus tries to make it in. Graviton Surge coming out as well as the Blade. And it looks like Lotus will take round 1 by getting all 3 ticks. Yep. Hold up.
And you have enough time to swap a little bit here to contest, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get a meaningful fight. It's just going to be playing for time.
Looks like Stella's doing all they can to get as little time as much time taken off as they can. As they swap, as they make the sequential swap. Wrecking Ball having a tough time trying to move on point. Lotus takes him out with ease, and that'll be it. Round 1 complete with 0-2 Lotus.
Score 0.
And it's really just the smart way to play it. They basically played point 2 on this map the way you play point 1 normally. Basically, they said to Stealth, hey, we are defending now. You are attacking. Get through us.
That was excellent use of the Sims teleporter with the fake out on the first point. And Berkey, hopefully trying not to make the same mistake again, did not even think twice to look back as the whole enemy team, as the attacking team, decides to teleport right into their back line.
And I would love to have seen something along those lines. If you could see, we'll see if Stealth actually tries to pull the Sim out themselves, even if they try and fake it out. But it looks like they're just going to go for a standard brawl and push through the front.
Is a hero to my people. We must
It's an interesting idea to stay on the Genji there. I'm not sure if Silver is personally just a Genji, for lack of a better word, a specialist. But in this situation, not really something that gels with the rest of the team.
Well, I mean, we see Michael on a still, so we could have a Nano Blade coming out.
It's true. It's something more where it seems like you're playing for the combo specifically, as opposed to the idea of something going your way or a plan.
Overall
in the
team
mid-fight. Exactly.
See Silver probably trying to get a couple three round burst shurikens coming in for a little bit of extra ult charge. As Stealth makes their way up, we see the first engagement happening right now. See the wall coming out. That walls off generally 2 of the team. We see Berkey takes out Witchbay, but Matthias just charges right onto Berkey as he was being frozen and antied at the same time.
You have that Mei hanging out in the back that's kind of just going uncontested at this point, though.
So seeing Stealth just toughing it out without their main tank and getting point 1 with Silver seeing to see if he can make anything happen. And there it is. Stealth now trying to capture point. See the Mei wall off to hold them off. And that is it. Stealth will take point 1.
At this point, you're just running away trying to set up a point 2 defense here.
I love how Stealth just doesn't care that their main tank was down and decides to push in even without him, making it successful.
Well, it's like I said before, if you lose your Zarya in a Rein Zarya team, you're generally pretty much over at that point because you lost pretty much all of your durability. But if your Reinhardt goes down, you lost kind of your barrier that you can hide behind, but your durability is still there.
And we see, as we see Stealth just dwelling on the high ground. See the Blizzard coming out with the Blade. You see Stealth take out 2. Nano Blade takes out 2 in return. Michael takes out Liquid Zell. And we see the brawl happening on point as Lotus doing their best. Hold it off. We see the Shatter coming out on Deception. High Noon coming out.
Even though he's not on point.
And there it is, as Dank takes out Stealth.
There's just a situation there where you almost had it where just both teams steamrolled through both points. But now we actually get to see a little bit of defense get played.
See.
And with how aggressively ultimates got used in that last fight, it's going to be down to the teams that decide to be a little bit patient here.
As we see, Stealth is doing their best, trying to be patient as it's slowly making their way into the chokehold. We see the engagement starting to happen again. We see the wall trying to come out to try and wall off the Reinhardt, not getting him being out. Shatter seems to get blocked. See the counter charge trying to happen, but doesn't. As we see, Stealth trying to push Lotus off the point as much as they can. Seeing Sleep, everyone's taking naps on point. You're good. Get your butt up and defend and help your team.
They're just playing for time at this point.
And we see Matthias going on ball to try and do the best he can, but gets frozen instantly. Berkey fire strikes him to death. And we see Silver just chilling on point. And he dashes right on in with a bubble. There's a wall coming out. Along with the grab on third shot, hold Stealth in place. And it looks like that'll be it as Lotus is able to successfully get him on point and say, "Get off my property."
We're generally seeing Lotus here just proving to be a better defensive team than an offensive team. Yes, they were able to kind of push through a couple of points really quickly here, but once they kind of get off of a game plan of how they want to attack, what paths they want to take, they tend to slow down a little bit. But once they're on defense where they can just have the mindset of this is the area we're holding, this is where we're settling in, that's when they're at their strength.
We see the next team engagement happening. Blizzard coming out and captures on the whole entire point. Their monkey is frozen, but it successfully gets away even when he was anti. Is this? Berkey charges Icon to the wall. Matthias fire strikes Berkey. Silver with the Dragon Strike comes out. Lotus still holding on. High Noon coming out from RTG, but it's not able as it is blocked off by Matthias. Stealth takes out Matthias in return though. Lotus is now down most of their team, and Zarya is taken out by Silver for a little bit of the stagger, and that is a reset for Stealth.
I mean, they might wish that they had that pulse bomb for a later fight, but they should. If most traces can usually charge it fairly quickly.
Yes, indeed. All it takes is a couple good clips right into the tanks, and then you're good to go.
It is definitely a situation though where you need someone on your team to have that sort of instinct to say, no more ultimates. We're up. It's 4-2 or it's 5-3, however, whatever the remaining heroes are on each side. Recognize when it's a one fight.
You see the Shadow coming out, but it's blocked by Berkey. You see another Shadow coming out by Berkey, but is blocked off not only by the Rhine shield, but also the bubble as well. Matthias takes out Coyote, they're Ana, and we see the Rhine charging the other Rhine off the point. And that's all
smart
you
at that
need.
point.
That's all you need at that point. And we see the Raging Monkey take Boostception off of the point.
That's just the smart move though there. If you're Matthias, like, you have the closer spawn, they're gonna miss their Rhine more than you will, and even then you'll get back faster.
And not only that, but the Primal Rage, the Angry Monkey, taking out Zarya as well for the long respawn.
Generally, a lack of ultimates here on either side. You will see Blade and Blizzard coming out again here shortly. Graviton's just kind of sitting there with not a lot to combo with outside of that Blizzard.
We see Berkey taken out once again, and we see he's still trying to make another huge push. Is Berkey revived and trying to take out the Zarya as best they can. she is walled off from her team. Berkey hammer just smacks her away, and that is it. As Stealth takes both ticks, but with only 1 minute remaining.
So Stealth actually getting under a minute left on their time bank, but with that bump up in time, that's going to give a little bit of extra time over to Lotus. Lotus in a great situation here in order to win Volskaya. Of course, you got to be smart on your first defense here. You got to be able to not underestimate it. Yes, they don't have a lot of time, but that doesn't mean they can't steamroll the points.
Ooh boy, we got a good one. We got a good map on our hands, folks.
It's just generally been a situation here with Lotus being able to like show their strength on defense and when they have a game plan. Once they start scattering around, trying to do their own thing, trying to think about like chasing individual kills whenever they see them, that's when they struggle a little bit. But once they start working towards the same goal, that's when they start to win.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Let's see if we can get another good defense off from Lotus. As we see Stealth getting their starting lines up, we see Liquid Stealth going to the Reaper for a little bit more shotgun blasting action.
You're fully healed.
It's interesting trying to see them pull out the Reaper on attack. He's more durable, so he'll be able to stall the point potentially. But a situation like this, unless Stealth is able to take out the Pharah real reliably, you're going to have a hard time.
I would say on 2CP, Reaper is a good choice because of the fact that you're always in close quarters combat, and Reaper thrives in that environment.
On defense, though, you do have that Pharah as an option just because you don't need to contest the point at all times. If you're in a situation where you can 1 or 2 tap just about everyone on the point with that Mercy on your back, you don't have to worry about contesting the point if they're going to get a half a tick or even a tick out of that first fight, especially with such little time left.
And we see Dank Monkey just bursting down not only Zell but also Coyote. They're losing. They lost not only one of their DPS but also their healer. And we see Witchbait taking out Stealth. We see the barrage coming out in under a minute. Oh my gosh! It takes
a very aggressive barrage. But that was absolutely the perfect time to use it, just because you don't have to worry about them trying to get a full regroup. They aren't even going to be able to touch the point in this situation.
And there it is, folks. Round 3 complete as Stealth does not take any ticks off of point 1.
Score 2-2. Switching
So once again, you're in a situation with Lotus where you have a lot of time on your hands. You don't need to be aggressive here. This is the first time they found themselves in this situation with a big time bank and only needing 1 tick. You can just sit back, charge your ultimates. Don't feed theirs if you don't have to. But gain your advantage. Find a combo that you want to pull off. You'll have enough times to do it once, even twice, potentially.
And it'll be interesting to see what will Stealth do in this tough situation. Will they try and gimmick it out, or will they try and honorably fight the good fight?
Well, they still have their Nano Blade. They're going basically back to that dive that worked so well for them, just keeping that Pharah that they were able to pull out last time. Of course, once again, we do see Stealth coming out on the Pharah, and this is the one where Stealth knows that their Pharah is one of their strong suits in this matchup. They've been able to pull it out and not lose, and not really struggle with it at all. The other time their Pharah's gotten beaten is when they were basically letting their Bastion carry them instead.
Liquid Zell going on the Reaper again, hopefully get some more damage pumped into Lotus's lineup.
And they could potentially even be expecting a more dive-oriented plan coming out here from Lotus, because they did see it come out on attack with on Dorado.
Which is a smart play because Reaper almost kills the dive if executed correctly. We see another dogfight happening between the Pharah, the Pharah Mercy, the Pharah with their Mercy pockets right on there with them, as Lotus is making its way towards point, Witchbait on the high ground.
And we'll see if the Diva can kind of play the anti-Pharah role that she needs to here. That's her main goal.
Mutai is taking out Berkey and zaps him to death, but Deception just lasers him down. We see the 3K coming out, makes a 4K coming out. Mutai revived, Witchbait taking out Liquid Zell, and that is it, folks, as Lotus will take game 4 of the night.
So with that, Lotus able to pull out, avoid the sweep. They get they pull it back to 3-1. But with that being Volskaya, we'll see if we want to go to that 5th map, go on to Ilios. But as of right now, with that win on the 3rd map on Dorado, that was enough to win it for Stealth.
Yes, sir. And it looks like Stealth will be your winners of the night.
So as we head back to our lobby here for just a moment. It was interesting too, like to see Lotus kind of playing to their strengths, playing with a little bit of coordination and just generally being able to have a plan. Because once they were able to work that out, they were able to do. It was just a situation too where even whenever they were able to kind of play to a goal, whether it was don't go past this point, target this person first, then they were able to kind of pull together and focus up.
Yes, indeed. Lotus with great play out there on Volsky Industries. Almost Stealth has been able to do whatever they wanted with them almost the whole night, but Lotus over here is saying we've come to play and made basically not only made Stealth go into overtime with only 1 minute remaining, but also having a huge time bake themselves with over 4 minutes.
Exactly. And just as a final thing here, to kind of generally give a player the game, I would personally, not because they necessarily played above and beyond their teammates, but because they were just able to kind of dominate the game off of their own hero pool. Stealth RTG was just able to sort of, anytime he was on the Pharah, he never had a problem. He was able to just sort of, anytime Lotus pulled out a hit scan even or a diva to counter him, he was just able to pressure them down and beat them pretty much every single time.
I would say that I would give my player of the night to Stealth as well. As we have seen from game 1 to game 4, Stealth has been a terror on the Pharah and playing to his strengths and making it a tough time for Lotus to deal with.
But anyways, guys, that was all for tonight. We saw Stealth pull it out and beat up on Lotus whenever they needed to, outside of that 4th map.
I have been your play-by-play caster, Showdown Shane.
And I'm your color franchise.
And we all hope you guys have a great night.
Bye.